I just feel awkward still.
Okay, so guess what? You and the two girls up on top, you guys are going to call each other today. And you're going to run through questions. And Jen and Elizabeth, you're going to learn to love accessories. And Donna, you're going to learn to love kitchen products. Or you can hate it. But I don't care what you say. But you have to ask each other your questions. And Donna, you're going to have to do it twice. So you get to do it twice. These questions are your bread and butter. Okay? This is so important to get it so smooth. I get it. It's not practiced. It's not a habit. You're like 100% normal. Like you're not doing anything wrong. You're just not getting enough practice doing it. Okay? So they've got to roll off your tongue. You're right. You've got to make it smoother. So you guys are going to practice with each other because this is really important. Okay? And you shouldn't have to get, I swear I want to put a bullet in my head every time I hear it takes 10 no's to get 1 yes. No, it doesn't. If you do this phone calling system, you should be getting 1 out of 5. Okay, I do not have time to make 10 calls to get 1 yes. Like, I don't know who keeps convincing y'all that that's what has to happen, but you get what you believe. Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, it's just simply, it doesn't matter if it's health, it doesn't matter if it's relationships, it doesn't matter if it's money and wealth, or a yes on the phone. If you believe you're going to get 1 out of 10, that's how many it's going to take. And you're going to stumble over it because it's a self-prophecy. Okay?
Okay, so I believed I was going to get a 1 out of 1 this week because I was at Marshall's carrying my bag, and this gal walked up to me and loved my bag and wanted to know more information. So I gave her one of my catalogs. She started asking all about it, and I showed her some of the things and told her I would call her to book a show so that she could get the things for free. And I called, no answer. So I called the next morning. She said, "Oh, I'm with my kids in their dance rehearsal. Can you call me back?" I did. No answer, no answer, no answer a couple other times. So I texted her last night and said, "I'd love to chat with you for a minute about getting this for free." So I guess after this, what do I do? I mean, she clearly has an interest.
I'm totally going to tell you the answer, and you're going to, it's way more simple than you think, okay? I did direct sales for many, many years, and I sold a lot of product, okay? I did a lot of parties. I had a lot of clients. I had a lot of downline. I mean, okay, like you guys haven't matched how many phone calls I made anywhere close yet. So, but I promise you, most people just have a weird life situation that pops up. And I would call 14, 30 days later, and they're like, "I'm so glad you called. Grandma died or ended up in the hospital." I'm telling you, 95% of the time, they are not avoiding you. 95% of the time, something weird happened. Okay? Like, do not take it personal. And it is a numbers game. Yes, it seemed like the golden contact. And yes, I carried my bag and I did my job and I was my own walking billboard and I made this contact and she seemed so positive, and it sucks when it doesn't turn out the way you hope. Okay, Donna? It just absolutely sucks. I'm 100% with you there. But you can do that 10 more times this week if you want, and you're going to have 7 of them book. Okay? They're not all going to book, and people have life situations, and all of a sudden they get home and they go, "What was I thinking? I got this and this and this going on, and it's Halloween week, or I don't know." I promise you, she's not avoiding you 99% of the time. They just had life happen.
Okay, so do I just wait a certain amount of time and then follow up again, or what?
Yep, that's all you're going to do.
How long do I wait?
Follow your heart. Okay. If she pops into your head twice one day, send her a text. Okay. There's really not a right and wrong. I mean, don't call her 3 times every day, but you are not a tactless person. I don't worry that you're going to do that. Do you know what I mean? Right. Every couple days for 2 weeks, or, like you said, you've sent her a text, and just, I remind them who I am. I say their name.
I came back to my notes from our call, and that's what I sent to her.
Yep. Okay. So it's Halloween. Excuse me. She has how many kids? Or do you know?
She has a couple. I don't know. They weren't with her, so.
It's Halloween week. there are trunk or treats and there's costumes and like, it's just a week. It's no big deal. Wait till after Halloween's over and try again.
Okay.
It's really, I promise you this, if you will learn not to start doubting yourself and questioning and kind of taking offense, that's not exactly the right word, but you know, it's like this ucky feeling and that we just hate how we feel because the person isn't responding and did we do something wrong, or you know, it's just, why aren't they calling? We made this connection and we start questioning. I promise you, if you just go, okay, something must have happened, and not go through all those thoughts that is so easy to go through your head. Okay, hold on to something must have happened. We made a connection. She gave me her contact information. The phone number's right. I have got a hold of her. Okay. But just make sure you get her email address. You're very good at sending out great newsletters, Donna. Okay. So just keep her on your list. Something happened. She was interested in the product. She came up to you, right?
Right.
Okay. Do not question yourself. It is not worth it. Okay. It is absolutely, positively not worth it. Okay. Yes, right. We want that person. We want it to be, easy, for lack of a better word. That was that hostess that I needed. It was number 4 for the month, or, you know, whatever it was. But it's a numbers game. You can't rely on one person. So it's just kind of a little life lesson. It's like, go make 3 more of those contacts. No big deal.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, don't make yourself crazy when there was a connection and all of a sudden it's like, where did the connection go? You have no idea what's going on in people's life. Think 30 days ago or 6 months ago, the last little life crisis you had. You know, it's like we don't know when things pop up for people, and almost everybody's dealing with some kind of hard.
Okay.
Okay? Seriously, don't take it personal. Okay. So I want you to email me your questions. I've seen your drawing slip, so I know that you have some good questions. Okay, but make sure you're talking about people's accessories, what they like to dress up with, and those kind of things. Okay?
All right.
All right. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about questions, and we're going to do this in a group setting. And I'm telling you, this is so much fun. So much fun. Okay. So this is the thing. When I learned to do this, sure, you'll all be shocked when I say, like when I was in high school, I was voted most opinionated. I was always told if someone had to pick, true story. When somebody had to pick an attribute, you know, we like Michelle because of this. This is her attribute. I was always called bold. Okay, like I've never been like she's so loving and Christ-like, you know, no. I was bold, okay? Like that's what I've been given my whole life. And so, yes, and I could do here's I was doing scrapbook supplies. That was my first job, or my first direct sales company. And I loved it. And I could get you excited about the cute paper and about the tool and the cutter and the 16 different ways you could cut things. And like I could play that game all day long. And I did good sales and I had a title and I earned a trip. And it's totally doable that way. Absolutely. You can do it that way. Okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It works to a certain degree and you can do it. And I said, I really want to up my game because you can get a title in a company and still just be making kind of part-time income. Okay. And I wanted to make more money and I wanted to be really successful. And so I had heard this training before and I really wanted to master it. And so I got a hold of the person who created the training and found she had a 6-month. It was just once a month for 6 months. So there wasn't as much contact as we have. And then she had a set of CDs. I think it was 2.5 hours. And I listened to those over and over and over and over again until it was like ingrained. Okay. And this is one of those things that made a huge difference in my business. And when I had these sweet little ladies I was working with on scrapbook supplies go, you're so sweet and you're not pushy at all and we're getting exactly what we want. And my sales doubled. Okay, now there was a life lesson. Okay, and I wasn't ever told I wasn't bold. Okay, like to be told I was the opposite and increase my sales was rather humorous in my brain, okay? So this is so much fun, and you will connect to people so much more. The thing is that you each have different products with different needs, okay? And so if you happen to do a coffee party, Tom, or you ladies, as you're presenting different products, even if you present the products the exact same way at every single class/party, you can still personalize it to those there by doing this first, okay? This is the whole goal of this exercise, is to find out about other people and their needs. So as you talk about the products, you can say, Susie, we want to make sure that you learn more about this because you talked about this, okay? So the first thing that I suggest, does anybody here struggle learning people's names?
Oh, yes.
Okay. You need to work at this really hard, because when you can learn their names, it will be even more effective. So meet them at the door, ask them their name, repeat it back to them, do everything you can to remember it. And I'm going to give you one more time to get them to say their names. And then I'll give you a thing you can say if you still forget their names that still sort of works. Okay?
How about name tags?
What?
What do you think about name tags?
I don't think it's very personable.
Okay.
But, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I think it's good for you to have a name tag sometimes, so we're not expecting them to remember our name. So if they're trying to get our attention or whatever. I never wore a name tag, but and it depends. If it's a situation where you know it's a really large group, for some reason, you know, I don't know, let's say you're having a big Christmas goodie cooking thing and you invited all your customers, as customer appreciation thing, and you know you had 25 people coming versus, you know, 6 to 8 to 10. You should be able to remember about 8, okay? And if this is really hard, like Google how to remember people's names. Like, choose to work on this. Like, I've chosen to work on this. This isn't something I'm naturally good at, and I don't always remember, but it really, really pays off. So first of all, focus and do everything you can to remember people's names. Okay, that's the first thing. So as they come in, you introduce yourself, you get their names, they sit down, and what you're going to do is there's a 4-step process. The first thing you're going to do is ask them a rhetorical question, okay? So how many of you wish that you could have more healthy meals but still be in the kitchen less, okay? Or how many of you feel more put together when you're accessorized to leave the house to go to a meeting or in your everyday life? How many of you would love to be drinking your common beverage that you have on a daily basis and have more health benefits at the same time? Okay. You want a rhetorical question where you're starting to get some head bobs. Okay. This is what we want to see. We want to start getting some head bobs. Okay. And some are going to be very stalwart and aren't going to respond. And some are going to be, yeah, you know, like you're going to have a variety of responses. So you need to find that rhetorical question that works best for you. Okay. Then we want to ask a question and give everybody the opportunity to ask this. Now, everybody has, 16 different ways to have people introduce themselves. This is the way I suggest it. Suggest you say, now, remind me your names, and plus in case some of the other guests don't know your name, and tell me, if there was one part of cooking that you could make easier or spent less time doing but ate more meals, or if you had a reason, what is the one reason you'd like to eat more home-cooked meals? Or if you only have time to grab one accessory before you leave the house and throw on, what's that one thing you're not going to leave the house without? Or, tell me a little bit about your coffee drinking habits, okay? A question like that. And I'm going to tell you that this takes a little bit of practice and throws some people off just a little bit at first, because the introductions do take longer, okay? And you're thinking, I'm never going to get to the product, okay? But when you let people talk, And you'll either just ask somebody to start, sorry, and you will get a pregnant pause. Okay, my little friends who hate pregnant pauses, you will get a pregnant pause because people are used to being talked at. So you have to just hang on and go, oh, Michelle said there might be a pregnant pause, and people will think for a minute before they talk. No big deal, okay? They're so used to us talking at them. They're like, oh, they want us to think and answer this. Okay. And if nobody pipes up and gives an answer, pick the person on your, right, or pick your hostess to get started or something like that. Or you'll see somebody's wheels turning. They'll be like, yeah, I can see your wheels are turning. Will you share with us your thoughts? And if anybody, I joke all the time, but you see this in every church with a Sunday school. The Sunday school teacher will ask a question and nobody wants to be the first person to talk. But after one person answers, then everybody has to have their 2 cents. Okay, that's what'll happen. It'll be just like Sunday school. Okay, it's somebody will finally answer and then oh, they all have to have their 2 cents. I mean, it's hysterical what happens. Okay, and that's why it takes longer to do the introductions, because then you're trying to okay, we have to now talk about product. Okay, so allow every person to talk about what their need is, and then you make this connection, and then as you present the product, you get to fine tune what you say and talk about, Susie, you talked about that you wish you had a better way to measure peanut butter. I don't know, whatever it is. Okay. And as you go through, the other thing that will happen is Becky will mention something and Susie will have already said something and she'll go, oh, I forgot about that. I have that problem too. Okay. And it becomes this layer domino effect. Oh yeah, I have, I wish my necklaces were longer too, or I wish I had a scarf in that color, or, I don't know, whatever it is. Okay. Or, oh, I have that problem. I like them long too, but I wish they were shorter in this situation, or, it's interesting to see what happens. People, and like I said, it kind of turns into a little bit of chaos for a minute. And you have to be able to bring people back in. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate all your comments. And you just kind of start talking and bring them back in. But it will take longer and it will feel like chaos a little bit, but you can do this. Okay. And it's amazing because my doTERRA people have been doing this and they're we feel so much more connected to people and we know what to suggest on things they order at the end so much better than we did before. And some are claiming that their sales have gone up 3 times, have tripled by doing this. My sales doubled. The next trip I earned in half the time allotted. Okay. I swear by this. Okay. It makes a huge difference. And the thing is, because you know exactly what they need because they mentioned it. If they don't get all of it, you know a reason to follow up with them and sell to them another time. Okay. When you do the talking at, I call infomercialing, you don't get to know them much. You watch for body language and, oh yeah, that's cool. That would be fun to have. We watch for those kind of things as we're displaying jewelry or, whatever it is we're talking about or talking about a health concern that the coffee helps with. We look for those signals in that body language, but you still don't know a whole lot by the end of the party if you haven't asked many questions. Okay. The other thing that you need to do, just to get kind of a poll on different products that you do, is you ask, okay, tell me who of you have this situation when you're cooking, or have this situation when you put on jewelry, or have this situation, have a particular health situation. Okay, you can ask those questions as you're going through and just let people do kind of a hands up kind of thing. And that way at the end, oh yeah, you really, you seem really excited about having a can opener that, breaks the seal instead of leaves that jagged edge. or, wanted some safety things for your kids when they're cooking, or wish they had things that were a little more versatile, or, love green tea but would like to see a few more health benefits with it. Okay, the whole key to this is when you sit down with them at the end of the party, that you can so much better help them fill out their order forms and upsell them because you know what they need. Okay, do you see how helpful this is? I swear to you, it's like the most fun thing ever. And you feel so much more connected to people. Just like you were saying, Jen, you're like, I felt like we kind of started a friendship because I asked her more questions. Okay, that's the whole thing with this. You'll book more parties, you'll have more repeat business, and you'll get more referrals. This is really important, that all these things that I'm helping you do help you become more authentic and help you show that person that you care. That's the thing. There's no doubt. I have a mentor, and he writes blogs, and he put out a thing about people needed to ask more questions, and he quoted somebody, which was annoying that he didn't quote me, but that, I know, whatever. But he put on there that the reason people don't ask questions is because they don't care. I was so mad. I wrote him. I was like, that is so not true. I'm like, they really do care. They don't know how to do it because everybody else sells to them badly. Everybody else talks at you when you sell. And so we just do what's been done to us because we think that's what sales is in this country. It is not because people don't care. I was so mad. I'm like, my clients care. Like, I don't know who you're talking to and who the jerks are, but my clients care about their clients and their product. I'm like, that's not true at all. People don't have practice asking questions. They really, really do care. Okay? So all these things I teach you make you help for that authenticity that is in your heart and your desire to help people in all these different situations that you care about. It helps you do that better and helps you find out what they need so you can be helpful. I mean, I don't know if you know, but my goal is that we start changing the culture of sales, and salespeople are seen as the most helpful, best listening, caring people out there, not as the pushy, obnoxious people that, is kind of accustomed to people saying about salespeople. Okay? So asking questions and letting the other person talk, that's why if you care, Elizabeth, you're going to get in 3 questions. Okay? That's the whole thing. Do I want to show I care? Then I get in 3. That's just the way it is. Okay? Do I care? Then I ask questions. And that is the whole key to this. And it makes a huge difference. It's such a win-win because you feel more authentic, but at the same time, you increase your sales. How much better does it get than that? You feel better about what you do. And that was the thing. It's like, I knew people went home with scrapbook supplies because I asked them, if you were to preserve your 3 top memories, okay, if for some reason you were in a coma or you died, or I don't like the death thing because I'm not really I don't like the scare tactics, but for some reason you can only preserve 3 memories. What are those 3 memories going to be? And we help them find, they went to the beach or the family reunion or, their wedding or whatever it was. And we help them find the products based on that. I sold a lot of cute watermelon picture, and people literally took pictures of their kids with watermelons because they had watermelon paper. Okay. Like, we did it the opposite all the time. Okay. But we started doing it the right way. I did anyway, by making sure I was focused on what people wanted to preserve in their particular memories. And bam, I exploded my sales. Okay. And the same thing can happen. What is it that makes people feel more put together with their accessories? I mean, it is so fun to play dress up. I've sold jewelry. I've sold clothes. It is a party. Okay. There is nothing more fun than that person looking in the mirror and you get them put together and this sense of confidence rises because they feel more put together and you help them learn a few tricks. It takes practice to wear jewelry and accessories, just like makeup and clothes and everything else, okay? It takes practice to learn different habits in the kitchen, and it takes a little bit of knowledge and know that there's an option to having coffee and knowing that it's healthier. but helping people reveal exactly what their health needs are, and then focusing on that and showing them how much you care about helping them achieve those goals. All those things, it's all about you becoming really authentic. Okay? Does that make sense? Any questions about that? Okay, I want to see your 4-part. Oh, I forgot 2 parts of it. Okay, so you ask them their questions, you rein them back in, and you say, can I share a story with you? And then you share a little bit of a story about why you love what you do, you love the product, the experiences you've had. For me, it did make everybody cry a lot. So I have a little boy who went home about an hour after he was born. He didn't get to stay around with us, and the fact I have his scrapbook is the only thing I have of his, okay? And it's the gift that I have, and that's all I have. And I would go into it a little more in detail of that, but you need a story that helps them see, and it then draws them to you. You know how you listen to their stories, and then they hear you, and it's this give and take. So share a story, but not, I mean, you got to be careful that it's not, well, I'm doing this because I want to be healthy, or I'm doing this because it makes me feel cuter, it's got to be said that it's just totally about you and genuine, and there's no guilt laden on other. I'm trying to cook more family meals for my family, home cooked meals for my family. It's got to be more with the perks and the benefits and those kind of things. But share some sort of personal story that helps people be drawn to you. Okay, so I want to see your 4-part thing. I want to know your rhetorical question. I want to know your open-ended question that you're going to ask the group. The 3rd part is done for you. Can I share with you an experience? Then I want to know your experience, and it needs to have some emotion behind it. Okay? 4 parts. You only have to write 3. Number 3 is already written for you. Okay? All right. So I want to see your script ASAP. And my party girls up on top there, okay? You need to get on this ASAP because you have a lot of parties booked.
Hold on. It's nice because we already, once again, we just have to tweak what we already have, because we already do this. This is how and home office has told us, stop doing this, blah, blah, blah. And Jen and I haven't stopped doing our shows like this. And so it's nice because basically we do this already, and we just have to tweak it a little bit and get it back into Michelle style.
No, what is the home office telling you to stop doing?
So they've came up with this whole show plan so it's easier and more duplicatable for new consultants. And they say, you greet your guests at the door. You tell them, because it goes back to that station style show that I was telling you about. And you tell them the power tools that we're going to use, and then you just get them into cooking. So your intro is 5 minutes, but it's not anything about, you say a sentence about you, and that's it. You don't talk about them. You don't talk about anything. And you just basically tell them, okay, so we're going to be using the rock crock today. The rock crock is great because you can use it with this and this and this and this. And we're going to be using the deep covered baker today, and it's great because of this, this, and this. Now let's go break up into our groups and start cooking.
Well, the thing is, you can still let them do hands-on and break up into groups, but you just need to do the questions at the beginning.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Jen and I are still doing the questions in the beginning. We're still having them go around the room, introduce themselves. We're still introducing ourselves. We're still doing all that kind of stuff because we feel that that's important. It's just your little bits of tweaking is just a little bit different from what we do. So that's nice.
Awesome. Okay. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes. So can you see how this is going to benefit you, Donna?
I can. I'm looking forward to giving that a try. Yeah. I can see how it would connect us better.
Yes. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Michelle?
Yeah.
Something that I have seen done very effectively in group settings is at the end of the meeting of the party is they will go back around the room again and just ask for a real quick testimonial. What did they enjoy about the event? What did they learn? Something like that. And just a real quick end. And you'd be surprised how many people will give you more information about their interest that you did not have prior.
Mm-hmm. That might, yeah. Yeah. And, or what, I've seen people, what was your favorite product? The problem is you don't have as many products. I can see it working with the other two companies a little bit more, but yeah, it's just by the time you do those introductions, sometimes your party's got a bit longer. And so sometimes doing that at the end, you've learned enough information that you can go right into placing their order. I just would make sure you do it at the first. The first, in my opinion, is more important than doing it at the end.
I probably wouldn't go around the room and get everybody's information first. I might pick on one or two of them, and then at the end, let them tell you what they enjoyed, what they learned.
Okay, I'm telling you, Tom, you need to know at the beginning what they need so that you can talk about the product and match it to what they said. You need to know all their needs at the beginning.
If you have a small group, you get a big group, you're in trouble.
No, if you do it with a big group, it still works just the same because when you're walking around the room, you're going to know that Susie is a soccer mom, and for us, Susie is a soccer mom, and she needs quick meals. So you're going to cue her in when you're talking about the deep covered baker because you can do a whole chicken in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to cue your presentation a little bit differently because if you know you have a room, if you walk into the room, Tom, and none of them drink coffee, but they all drink hot chocolate, you don't have to even talk about the coffee so much. You may touch on it, but you're going to focus more on the hot chocolate. But if you didn't do those intros ahead of time, you're not going to know that they're all hot chocolate drinkers.
Yep. Agreed.
So doing it at the beginning is really, really critical. That's what made a difference in my business, is that you found out everybody's needs.
And I do it at the end too, Tom, like you were saying. We call it a shop and share. So basically they're selling the products to each other. I got to use this amazing thing because it's this and this and this. And their friends were like, oh my gosh, can I see that too? And then we pull it out and they touch it and feel it after we're all done with the demo. And they're selling we use that for them to sell to each other.
Exactly. That's what it's about.
Yeah. So I mean, you touch on that and we only give them like 5 minutes.
That's all they need.
If you only do that, it's still going to end up infomercialed and you're not going to know what people need. That's what
right. So you do the needs at the beginning and then you do this at the end. I totally agree, Michelle.
No. I knew you weren't saying that. I was just clarifying that with Tom, that even though that's a perk at the end that they're selling to each other, it still, if you don't know their needs, they may think it's exciting, but that may not even be the thing they most need. They may take it home. I mean, I have cool Pampered Chef toys that sit in my closet because it was clever, but it wasn't necessarily something I'd use on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Okay, that's easy to have happen. Okay, and that was the thing with the scrapbook stuff. It was easy to get people excited about doing this crafty thing, but they weren't necessarily going to take time to do it. They're like, no, I'm never going to make my own freaking thank you cards. I'm going to go buy them for $2 at the dollar store or whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it was good in theory in the moment, but they didn't necessarily always use their stuff. So that's why it's so important to get them what they most need, because you get better repeat business. And if they don't use it and love it, you won't get referrals either. It's incredibly important to understand their needs at the beginning of the show. Does that make sense, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay. So you should have got a form that says customer information or something like that. Did you get a second form? Okay. So let's go over this real quick. And this is incredibly valuable. It's very, very similar to your drawing slip. There's a couple little tweaks to it because you're going to add referrals to the bottom. And actually, this form's been tweaked, but it's in my book, and it's not a single form anymore. It's in this big 80-page workbook now. So I will try to get that separated and show you a few changes I made on this. So, you know, my big thing with contact information is their email address, phone number, and knowing if they text or not. But one thing I added on here is I put little boxes. It's like the Facebook symbol, the Google symbol, the Instagram symbol, and, you know, ask them which social medias do they use, okay? and I would friend them, and I would have a group. Okay, I would have a group for your customers. I've been meaning, I just haven't had time. Everybody that has liked my page that I can add as a friend, I'm going to put into a group. Those stupid Facebook pages are so aggravating. I mean, because I can post something. I mean, I have over 500 likes, and it will barely show it to maybe 60 people. In a group, it goes to all your people. They may not open the group message, but at least it shows up in their notifications. Okay, so that's my suggestion to you, is make a group. But on the other form, it has the little boxes on the top. Now, I bet my Taste of Home people can tell me, why do I have boxes for the email address?
So you can read them.
Yes, Taste of Home does it in boxes because you're more likely to be able to read their handwriting if you have it in boxes versus just a line. Okay, then I have some of the common endings there at the bottom, Yahoo, Google, for them to circle or add one in. I want to make it as easy for them as possible because I want them to answer the questions at the bottom. Okay, so a couple of your key questions, how often do you use, or, how often do you want to be cooking dinner? Okay. Any sort of multiple choice, but the whole idea, okay, let me step back 2 seconds. What I want you to do is to hand this out when you're almost done with the party. If you hand it out at the very beginning, they may not answer the questions in the same way because they have some new added knowledge. Okay, so I don't want you to do it when you're all done and you hand out order forms. I want you to do it a little before that and offer a drawing. We'll talk about referrals at the bottom. Okay, so doing multiple questions. What do you like about this? How often do you use this? Questions on 1 to 10. Then you're going to have a booking and a recruiting question. So one of them, it says, starting with 1 being the most important, label the following 1 through 4 importance of perks of being a host. Because remember, we've talked about motivational styles, okay? Some people book parties because they love to have their girlfriends over and make their famous cheesecake, okay? They don't care about getting free stuff. That's not why they do it. They love the product. They love an excuse to have people over, okay? Some people, by dang, they're doing it to get every last dollar of free stuff they can. And if you don't know which it is, and you're talking about the opposite, you're going to shut them down. Okay? So understanding what's most important to them when it comes to hosting a party, and if they don't mark any of them, you know that they're not a potential hostess. Okay? But still, you still verbally ask every single person if they'd like to get some stuff for free and have some girls' friends over for dinner. Okay? Or, whatever it is. The other one that isn't on here, that's on the other form, is on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested would you be in making money, sharing with people a new kind of coffee, with helping people learn how to cook more quickly and easily, or with helping other people play dress up and accessorizing. Okay. Remember the 1 or 0 is not interested, 10 is really interested, but then you get a 2 through 9 of an average of maybes. That's the thing, is there's a ton of people that are maybe, depending on how much I make, depending on how much work it takes, depending on how much the kit costs, depending. You have this whole range of maybes when you do that, okay? So that's a fun question to put on there. And then the thing at the bottom is you can ask questions, and we'll cover this a little bit more later. I think it's a recorded video on my website. So if you want to do the referral thing sooner than we're going to cover it, go ahead and go to the website and watch that video. But on the bottom here, what you want to do is, who do you know who wishes they were cooking at home more? Who do you know that's a stay-at-home mom? Who do you know that always is dressed to the nines when they leave the house, when you see them at work? Who do you know who drinks coffee, a couple cups every single day? Who do you know who's mentioned that they want to lose weight lately? Okay, you put about 3 to 5 questions down here at the bottom and put names and phone numbers, and you say, okay, one of the things is, I bet when you're sitting here and you saw this coffee, these accessories, these kitchen products that you thought, hey, you know what, my friend so-and-so might be interested in this. I would love to contact them and just share with them a little bit about this product. Now, if you put their name and phone number down there and star next to it, if you'll just send them a quick text and say, hey, my friend Tom might be calling you to tell you a little bit about this cool new coffee, then that would be awesome. And everybody who puts, 2 or more names down going to a drawing for X, okay? If you have 6 to 8 people there, half of them give you 2 or more referrals, you just doubled the amount of contacts, okay? Email addresses doesn't really help because people aren't going to get that email and call you, okay? It really needs to be a phone number. That's the only way you're going to make much of a connection. And then you go back and use your questions from your phone calling system and you start all over again, okay? Do you love how Yeah.
Do you use those referral names that say, oh my gosh, 4 people, let's get a show booked kind of idea? I mean, like you already started your guest list?
You could, sure. But I mean, I would have them thinking of out of the area too. Who's a family member that loves to cook that may not even live here, or you know what I mean? There's lots of ways. All right. Okay, so my next class is going to be starting here. I'm surprised they're not on here yet. I just realized what time it was. Any question about these 2 things?
Do you have this in a non-PDF form so we could just edit the document without starting all over?
I can send it to you. Yeah, it's just quite frankly, these questions, there's not much that you can tweak. Like you've got to come up with your own question. About the only thing that would help would be like the email address boxes. But I'll send it to you in a, send me a quick reminder because I'm teaching another class. I might forget. Okay. But a lot of this you're going to have to put in your own business terms anyway. Right. But yeah, I know I keep thinking of trying to figure out a way like people could go on like my website and put in certain questions and their logos and it would like create a document for them. But I don't know. I don't know how to do stuff like that. One day when I make the big bucks, I'll find someone who does that. So
now how do I hook up with Michelle or Elizabeth to ask her questions later and have her ask me?
So can you 2 put your phone numbers down on the bottom, please? And vice versa, the 3 of you. Tom, you want to party too?
Sure.
It's just kind of hard because they're not going to ask you about accessories unless you have men accessories. Do you have men's accessories?
You never know. I have a wife.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah, you can practice Christmas shopping with a man.
You put your number in.
I'm not sure how to do that.
Ooh, I don't know where. But she's still recording.
Yes.
So down at the bottom, take your mouse and scroll down the bottom and hit the chat box. Do you see that, Donna?
I'm on my iPad.
It should pop up now, Donna. We just sent you a message.
Down at the bottom, there should be a little red bubble.
Okay, I got Elizabeth.
There, now you have both our numbers, so you can just give us a call. We're around.
You will get my voicemail. I will call you back because I'm in meetings today doing stuff.
All right.
Just leave a time. It's a good time to call you back.
Okay.
Not that I'm ignoring you.
Yeah, sure.